don't you give it? Stop, don't make mistake. Stop, 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 stop.
Why don't you feel rocket? Feel, touch, pay, feel rocket. Feel, touch, pay. It is a deal. Rocket. Why don't you rocket? Feel. Why don't you feel? Touch. Why don't you touch it? Pay. It is a deal.
Lick it. Why don't you lick it? Take. Why don't you take? Give. Why don't you give it? Stop. Don't make mistake. Lick it. Why don't you lick it? Take. Why don't you take? Give. Why don't you give it? Stop. Don't make mistake.
Rocket. Why don't you rocket? Feel. Why don't you feel? Touch. Why don't you touch it? Pay. It is a deal.
Lick it. Why don't you lick it? Take. Why don't you take? Give. Why don't you give it? Stop. Don't make mistake. Stop.
Feel, touch, pay, deal. Rocket. Why don't you rocket? Feel. Why don't you feel? Touch. Why don't you touch it? Pay. It is a deal. Rocket. Why don't you rocket? Feel. Why don't you feel? Touch. Why don't you touch it? Pay. It is a deal.
Stop.
Rocket. Why don't you rocket? Feel. Why don't you feel? Touch. Why don't you touch it? Pay. It is a deal.
Lick it. Why don't you lick it? Take. Why don't you take? Give. Why don't you give it? Stop. Don't make mistake. Lick it. Why don't you lick it? Take. Why don't you take? Give. Why don't you give it? Stop. Don't make mistake.
Rocket. Why don't you rocket? Feel. Why don't you feel? Touch. Why don't you touch it? Pay. It is a deal.
Lick it. Why don't you lick it? Take. Why don't you take?
I like you, bitch. 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 I like you. I like you. I like you.
Fatto cazzo, che questo stesso segno. Fatto cazzo, che questo stesso segno. Es schmeckt uns, nam 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 nam. Es schmeckt uns, es schmeckt uns, es schmeckt uns, nam 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 nam. Es schmeckt uns, es schmeckt.
I like you, bitch. 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 I like you, bitch.